Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to NerdPod Generations, episode 173. As always, I'm one of your illustrious hosts, Steve Taylor, along with the always lovely Al Judson. Hello, sir.
Hello, friends and enemies.
What's going on, dude?
I am just glad that the only thing that I have to do for a very special thing is to be like, we won. At least this battle.
Yeah.
The war is far from over, but this battle, we won.
Yeah.
And that's important.
That is important.
Yeah.
You know, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
So we're gonna touch a little more on that later, folks. But this is NerdPod Generations, episode 173, meaning there are 172 previous episodes of Pure Gold. So please go to nerdpodgen.com. There are links to both Spotify and Apple Podcasts, so you can find our shows there. There is a link to the most recent episode on the homepage, and then there's also a link to our YouTube channel where Al has been uploading full episodes and pieces of episodes going back all the way to the beginning. So you have a lot of content to listen to make your ears dance, let's say.
And as I like to note, it's a good excuse for us to be like, oh, we have this 2-hour show.
Yes.
We're not cutting anything.
We're not cutting shit. Even though I do have to say, I listen to a podcast. I'm not even a PlayStation fan.
Yeah.
But there's a guy by the name of Colin Moriarty who used to work at IGN.
Okay.
And he left IGN with the guy Greg Miller, and they created a video game journalism company called Kind of Funny.
Okay.
And he ended up leaving that and creating his own called Sacred Symbols. And there's a PlayStation podcast they do, and it's usually 4 hours long.
Wow.
And it's a weekly podcast.
Yeah.
So, like, there are times I don't think I make it through half before the new one comes out, and I'm like...
That's why I like putting segments up on YouTube, is because it's like, you know... I love that we have some of these silly conversations, but I can also see how someone would be like, so when are you going to talk about Thunderbolts? Because that's literally the only reason I'm here. I don't fucking care.
I agree. So anyways, folks, we do like to start each episode with a little segment called Watch, Play, Read. I'm going to go first because I want to hit the trailer stuff with you. We're doing Trailer Park with Al in a second.
I'm going to defer.
So I want to do a quick shout out to... my disdain for Jennifer Lawrence. And Jennifer Lawrence has been slowly going downhill for me for a very long time.
We were joking that she got directly from the source. She contracted Chris Prattism.
Yes, where she was just in too many things, and you realize that she wasn't as funny as you thought she was. She wasn't as good an actor as you thought she was.
And she started really playing into her own personality.
Yes.
Which is fine, but it's not why Jennifer Lawrence became such a great actor when she hit the scene.
Exactly.
Because you didn't, like, when you were watching her play these various roles in, like, Silver Linings or whatever, you could see the Jennifer Lawrence to it, but it wasn't like, oh, it's Jennifer Lawrence. And, like, in the last 5 years, with some exceptions, Mother and others, I feel like she has gone to, like, no, I can just play myself. It's fine.
And it's annoying.
That
and the
raunchy
reason I'm
comedy she
touching
made
on this is we just showed the kids the 3, well, technically 4 Hunger Game movies. And we finished with the part 2 of the 3rd movie.
Killing Mockingjays or whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever it is. And I'm watching those movies, and I remember when I first saw them, I was like, man, these are really great. They're still really entertaining movies. Mm-hmm. But she grinded on me so much because it's like, I understand she's supposed to have this kind of standoffish personality, but there was nothing likable about her, and I think it was her performance and not the writing.
I'm going to tell you straight up, this is where I reveal to the fans that I don't like any of the Hunger Game movies. Yeah. I don't like any of them. Granted, I only made it through the first 2 because I was like, well, this sucks. I'm not going to follow up on the next 3. Mm-hmm. You know, so my best friend's wife almost threw me out of their house, which I was living in at the time. Because I just would not shut up about how much I was not enjoying the second one. Yeah. Where they bring back every winter from whatever, and you have like some old people, and for some reason, Jeffrey Wright is there.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Now, the big thing is he plays a bigger role in the 3rd one. Yeah. And the 3rd one has Mahershala Ali in it, which I forgot he was in it. And sadly, it was the last film of Philip Seymour Hoffman. And part 2 is he had died before it was done, and you can see
that they have to write around him not being
well,
there.
And you can see the scenes where they like use old footage Or like there's a scene at the end where there's supposed to be this big press conference and he's off to the side and it's obviously like CG.
Yeah, because he couldn't do any dialogue for the big speech he had to give.
But even those movies, he was not good in.
Yeah.
He was in the second and third and he was not good in them. But like the third
honestly,
one,
I don't think anybody was good in any of those movies. Like I look down the line and it's like, I'm not saying that there's like big hitters everywhere here, but Hutchinson can act. He's not bad. But he's bad here.
But he was the exception in 3.
Okay.
Because
is that the one where he's brainwashed?
He gets brainwashed, and he does lose, like, he does the Christian Bale and loses a ton of weight. Mm-hmm. And he really, like, went for it in the third one. He was the only shining force in that third one.
I just remember watching the first one, and they're setting everything up, and they're like, oh, here's PETA. Oh, here's Liam Hemsworth. Oh, here's Katniss. And I'm like, I hate all 3 of these people.
Yeah.
I don't like any of them. They all suck. And then as we get further into the story, it's like, okay, Stanley Tucci is entertaining in like a, big giant fire kind of way. I wouldn't want to sit too close to it, but you could watch it for a while and be entertained. And obviously Woody Harrelson is always good in everything. Yeah. And him playing a drunk makes it even better.
And he's just playing a drunk Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
He's not even really stretching it.
He's just playing Woody after hours in Cheers.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? All of this is just a drunken hallucination of so Woody great. In the back of the bar after a particularly long day.
That would be amazing.
But I just remember watching and just being like, this was during a period where I really liked Liz Banks. I don't like Liz Banks in this movie. I don't like anybody in this movie.
But the funny part is with the Liz Banks in this movie is my son had only seen her in this movie. So then when we watch Power Rangers, Rita Repulsa, he's like, "That's not the same person." I'm like, no, that's the same person.
That's Effie What's Her Nuts.
Yeah. And he's like, "Holy cow!" I'm like, yeah, she's got range because. She plays an awesome Rita Repulsa.
I really like Liz Banks for the most part. I think she has also kind of gotten into that realm of like, okay, all right.
She's gotten that ego a little bit.
There was something about Cocaine Bear and the way that she was promoting Cocaine Bear, which she directed, and granted, you want to talk big about your own projects, but there was something about the way that she was promoting it where she was talking about it like it wasn't Cocaine Bear. And I'm like, but that this is Cocaine Bear, right? Yeah. And so let's. I'm not saying you can't be proud of your work, but let's put all things in perspective. How about that?
I'll still always love her for Wet Hot American Summer. That's still one of my favorite little go-to.
That's another one of those movies where it's just like you look at that cast now and you're like, God damn.
I know.
God damn. Even the extras were ridiculous. People, were names.
Yeah. And Bradley Cooper having sex with another man in a. Mm-hmm. Was it a boathouse or whatever they were in? That was great. And the sequel was actually pretty good. The one they made years later.
Years and years later. Yeah,
that was really good. Yeah. So I just wanted to give a shout out to that and the fact that she is pretty much on my dead to me list. I don't really have any interest to see another movie she's in. If it's a movie I want to see and she just happens to be in it, different story. But I won't be like, oh, Jennifer Lawrence, maybe it'll be good. No, I don't think that anymore.
So have you watched the prequel, The Songbird of Ice and Fire, or whatever the fuck it is?
Nope. Because I was kind of... Okay, I will admit, because I had read the books, and when I first saw the movies, I liked them, so I got them on Blu-ray when they came out. I have not seen them in over a decade. So now I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh...
The moment I will never forget, when I was the moment where I was almost thrown out of the house, was after the plan goes through in the second one and catching fire, and Katniss is airlifted out of the dome that they just burst open, which, as I recall, was a lot harder to blow open than it should have been. I remember that being one of my issues. Was like, why is this taking so long? Why is this the plan? This is the entire plan, but are you sure? And then when she gets airlifted out, she's literally Jesus on the cross as she's being lifted. I was like, okay, all right, let's take a piece. Hang on a second. This is bad.
Well, to tell you just how old these movies are, Rue in the first one is the lead in The Acolyte.
Yes.
So it's been a minute.
A hot minute.
It's been a minute.
Oh man, The Acolyte. I had to explain The Acolyte to my family. Yeah, because I got in there was a conversation over the nature of Star Wars and what it should or shouldn't be moving forward, and there was just a lot of conversation over the sanctity of the Jedi. And I was like, I'm not saying the Jedi. The issue was my sister was basically saying like, the Jedi are held on too high a pedestal, and both between the way that they treat each other and the way that they treat others, they're authoritarian. I'm like, that's crazy. that's an absolutely bonkers thing to say. I don't think the Jedi are all good, and I think portraying the Jedi as a flawed group is fine, but I think that they're to run directly towards their Nazis. Let's put a pause on that. Oh, but they steal people's children. But do they? Let's hang on a second, because let's examine this. If it's anything like everybody's beloved acolyte, they offer a choice. And that's all I've ever seen and heard in my various travels is it's a choice. You go in, you say, hey, this person has the Force. We, as the shepherds of the Force, would like to teach them to use it, because otherwise, bad shit can happen to them
really bad.
Or to us or to other people that are innocent. And as we are the safeguards of innocence in the galaxy, we would like to help out with the situation. And now I can understand why people would be like, they took my child against my... I get it. But, let's also...
That's like saying, Hogwarts is authoritarian because they want to train young wizards.
Because they put all the evil wizards in one house.
Yeah.
They just lump all the Nazis together to save on time.
No, it's dumb.
It's dumb. It's dumb. It's myopic, and it's quietly infuriating that this is where we've gotten to. So I can honestly say
I don't know if I'll ever watch those movies again. I own them. For the remainder of my life, I may never watch those movies again.
I feel like I'm going to end up watching them at some point, if for nothing else, because they're in my pantheon. Because, like I said, my best friend fucking loves those movies, and we share a pantheon. All of our digital movies are in one shared group. So at some point, similarly to how I can only keep my kids from watching the bad Indiana Jones movies by not having them in the pantheon, and I have to square the circle of Spider-Man Homecoming having been bought and put in the pantheon, not by me, but by others.
Yeah.
And so now someone of, a very impressionable age can find it and be like, I love Spider-Man, let's watch this. And
Are you watching Homecoming? Put on porn. Stop watching Homecoming.
I told you, if you're going to waste an hour and a half, do anything else. All right?
That's the best. That's the best.
Yeah.
Okay, so my last thing I wanna touch on is actually music.
Oh, fun.
Because so my favorite band of all time is Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
Love Pink Floyd. First concert I ever saw in 94 was Pink Floyd. Best concert I ever saw. I've seen hundreds of concerts, so I kind of blew it on the first one. Like I saw The Greatest Thing. I've always been Team Gilmore. Because there's either Team Waters or Team Gilmore. So for those of you that don't know, there were 4 members of Pink... Well, technically, there was a member in the beginning, but he kind of went a little crazy, and they brought David Gilmour in. Sid Barrett was his name. So the 4 members were Roger Waters, Richard Wright, Nick Mason, and David Gilmour. Gilmour and Waters kind of butted heads over Control, where Waters kind of went off the deep end, and you can kind of see it with the wall kind of starting to turn, and then the final cut was his last...
I don't know if anybody's ever said The Wall is a weird movie.
No, I love the movie.
I don't know what you're talking about, Steve.
I love The Wall, but you can kind of see where it's going.
Off the deep end?
Off the deep
end.
Who
could ever call The Wall off the deep end?
Yeah.
Steve, let's be real here.
That movie's such a trip. I still have not gotten high and watched that movie. I need to do that. But the album itself, you could see it. You could see Waters taking it. And then the final cut, which pretty much went down as like the last stand for Pink Floyd as a group. And then Waters left the band. And then Gilmour pretty much continued on with Wright and Mason. And they did 2 more, technically 3 more albums, because they had the Endless River that came out not long. Well, it's probably been a decade now. But to me, Gilmour was always the voice and the guitar. Made Pink Floyd. The music, to me, like the writing and the words were great. But the music made it for me, and that was primarily Gilmour, Wright, and Mason. Were the ones that primarily did the musical side. So Gilmour has a pretty solid solo career. And especially later in life, he's had a great solo career. And he put out an album called On an Island, which is awesome. It's one of my favorite. It really does sound like a Pink Floyd album, but that's just because of his voice and guitar. But he made a live concert recording. And it's such a long name, so it's called Remember That Night, live at the Royal Albert Hall, David Gilmour. So it's him doing On an Island and Pink Floyd stuff.
Yeah.
He's doing both, pretty much both those. It is such a great great concert album. I highly recommend it. It might be in your Vudu too, because I bought it on Apple.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that's so great about it is, so he starts off with some Pink Floyd songs, and this tour wasn't just him; it was him and he got Richard Wright. So 2 members of Pink Floyd were
half
doing
the band.
It's half the band. So it's like they're doing the tour, like awesome music. The first half, a couple of his songs from his new album, he had David Crosby and Graham Nash.
That's half that band.
And they were singing a couple, like, backup on a couple of his songs, which was awesome.
Yeah,
and they sounded great.
Depending on whether you count Neil Young, that's 2/3 of that band.
Yeah, 2/3 of that band. Yeah. And it was like, dude, it was so great. And then you get to the end, and for 2 songs, ending with Comfortably Numb, he had David Bowie come out. And he sang the Roger Waters part of Comfortably Numb.
So this is a documentary from a while ago.
This was 2006.
Okay. Because I was about to say...
Well, Richard Wright died, I want to say 2008, 2009.
Because in my mind, David Bowie was the first name that I was like, okay, I know he's dead.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that can't have come out recently. Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
But no, Richard Wright died, he died... Oh, God, I want to say it was like 2008. So it wasn't long after this that he died. But I'm telling you, I had the Blu-ray of it, but there was an imperfection in the disc. So I want to say it's like the 4th song, it would skip.
Okay.
And it would like freeze, and I would have to skip ahead a couple songs for it to get going again. So that's why I got it digitally. So I still have the Blu-ray, but I have it digitally now, and I'll have it on with my phone upside down at work with an earbud in while I'm doing my work. Man, Comfortably Numb is one of my favorite songs of all time, and it is, I think, a perfect song. And hearing David Bowie singing that, oh man, it just goes to a different level, and it's so fucking good. And I highly recommend, if anyone loves music and they like Pink Floyd, you got to watch this thing. And I think it was pretty cheap too. I think it was only like $10 on Apple TV or Apple Store or whatever.
Yeah. Nice.
It's so good.
Yeah.
So good. So I highly recommend.
Excellent. The only thing that I have to add to that is, because I'm not a Pink Floyd aficionado, I know the big ones, but I don't know all their music. But have you heard this was an interview that David Bowie gave, obviously a while ago. Have you heard David Bowie's take on where parasocialism is going to go in the era of the internet?
Yeah.
So this was before the internet really kicked off, and basically David Bowie is talking about how you're going to get to this point where artists and their fans can so directly interact that it's going to cause either friction or kind of this melding, blending point of like, where does the art end and the audience begins and all this other stuff. And, funny story about that. He wasn't far off in terms of how art is handled now and how music is handled and seen on the internet. And
well,
where it comes from.
One of my favorite YouTube channels my son and I used to love to watch was The Outdoor Boys. Mm-hmm. And I think I've talked about it on the show before, but it's this guy who used to be a lawyer, lives in Alaska, and him and his family are Mormons, but he is like the ultimate outdoorsman, and he would just do the survival camping, and it's really entertaining and very family friendly. So like my son and I loved him. He had to stop his channel, which blew up. He had like 15 million subscribers because people were taking his content, uploading it as clips on their channel, and then people kept bothering him and his family to the point where he's like, I need my family to be safe. So
I live in Alaska.
Like, he was making millions a year on this channel, and he had to stop.
Yeah.
And like, the good thing is he still kind of has a hand on it, because what his oldest son, who started on the videos when he was a little kid and would go on these trips with him, now has his own channel where he does it, and so the father helps him kind of produce them and helps him with the survival stuff. So they kind of still have a footprint in it.
Yeah.
But man, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw that firsthand recently with that.
Yeah, look it up. I can't remember who does the interview. I think it may be a BBC interview or something, Sky Network, something like that. But it's just David Bowie talking about how the way that art was made in the 80s and 90s is going to be fully forgotten
Oh, yeah.
in the new age of technology. And he gave this interview in like 2009 or something. And so, it's extremely prescient with things like Taylor Swift and all these other things that have grown into the minutia of pop culture.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what do you got, my friend?
All right, so I got a few things to hit. So, one, I wanted to talk about how we rewatched Turning Red, because I feel like we haven't gotten a chance to talk at length about
Disney movie?
The Disney movie. Yeah. This is just a really charming movie.
Yeah, it was... I don't know. I was indifferent about it.
I like it. I think that the fact that they use cringe elements so strongly, where like we were joking about it afterwards, but there's so many moments in the movie where it's like, okay, imagine the worst thing that could happen to a middle schooler in an ABC Family sitcom, and now imagine another terrible thing happening at the same time, and now imagine their worst enemy is also there for the entire experience. And they have several moments like that in the movie where you're just like, oh my God, Jesus Christ, this mother, someone needs to arrest this mother for child abuse. This is the worst thing I've ever seen anyone do. But there's kind of a charm in those moments because it adds to the saga of everything going on. But I think it's also just, it's a nice movie that touches on subjects that we don't talk about. You know, the fact that pads and getting your period are kind of not just the main crux of the story, but spoken of openly. You know, it's not one of those things where it's like, okay, this is going to be a parable about getting your period, but we're not going to talk about any of the elements that go into that. It actually does look at those elements and kind of take them apart and be like, no, we're not just going to talk about this in, you know, scare quotes. We're going to talk about it directly. And also there's this metaphor that goes on with it too. So if you haven't seen it, Turning Red is great, and kind of critically I don't want to say maligned, but underappreciated.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't that part of the like quote unquote COVID period?
It was.
Still?
It came out I think in 21.
Yeah, so it was still like no one was really going to the movies.
No one was going to the theaters, but the big thing that bothers us in this house is that Disney did eventually release it in theaters and did absolutely no marketing.
Of course not.
And so it didn't do anything in theaters, and they were like, well, we tried. And it's like, no, you fucking did. You tried in the sense that you had 4 wheels on the car, but those 4 wheels were all replacement donuts that aren't supposed to actually run more than 5 miles. So, you know, of course you couldn't drive all the way across the country on them. Yeah. So... Turning Red.
Disney can still go fuck themselves.
Yeah. Speaking of Disney going to fuck themselves, I think this is a great opportunity to talk about the other thing that we talked about last week, where we just need to touch on something, which is that your voice does actually matter.
Yeah.
And in this capitalistic society, the biggest thing that you can do is vote with your money.
Yeah.
Disney, basically, before I was even done editing the show, Disney put Kimmel back on TV and left it up to Next Star and Sinclair to decide.
Which Sinclair ended up folding.
Sinclair folded by Friday. Yeah. I love that both Disney and Sinclair talked about these open-minded, wide-reaching discussions, and I'm like, bullshit.
Yeah.
There were no open-minded, wide-reaching discussions.
People canceled their fucking Disney Plus.
You lost $4 billion.
Yep.
And Sinclair knew that if they continued down this path, they would be taken to court. I think that they should still be taken to court over this matter. I don't think that this should be done. I still think somebody should take them to court over this.
And I love the fact that Sinclair folded, because what these jackasses are going to understand eventually is the majority of this country are not MAGA.
Yeah.
Sinclair's pushing the MAGA message on all the... Everyone's going to turn off the channel.
Yeah.
And they're going to end up losing all their fucking money because they're not going to have any viewers, because all the fucking, like, 90-year-old MAGA people are going to drop fucking dead soon. Well, and then you're going to be grossly outnumbered because no one is going to be watching your shit.
Well, and like, you talk about how everybody watched Kimmel's reappearance.
Yeah.
The vast majority of people watched it on either YouTube or Disney Plus.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, so that was a bunch of eyeballs that you just lost, Sinclair.
Yeah.
You just lost an entire, the highest grossing week of this show.
Yep.
You just lost all of it over what? You wanted to go through with this merger, and so you were going to kind of ham-fist your way through it and make it happen, even though you were so very clearly on the wrong side of the law, to the point where literally the entire country rose up with one voice and said, fuck you. But sure, we had some very open conversations about how we were going to progress with this moving forward. No. You got your pants, you pulled your pants down in the middle of the street and then you got run over by a car.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, I guess that was a bad idea. And I just hope someone takes you to court for public indecency and for reckless endangerment.
And I'm hoping the fallout of this shows the next company to just grow some balls.
Yeah.
And fight.
That is still the resounding thing that I come back away from this with. They have to do it. Is just Disney, way to be a fucking pansy about the whole thing.
Yes.
You were just a patsy the whole way down. You never had backbone in this whole thing. Bob Iger talks all the time about being this Democrat, this radical Democrat who gives to different Democrat groups and whatever. No. Get the fuck out of here. If you actually cared, I still say you would have stood up and said the right thing and become folk heroes across the country for basically saying, no, we're fucking not going to do that. We're not going to do that. It's our moral obligation as a content provider to not do that.
Yeah. But it's still, once again, if anyone believes that Iger is truly a Democrat, you just need to go to his theme park.
Yeah.
And you go to Disney World, and that is the most capitalistic, anti-liberal place you could possibly go in your life.
Well, it's like how I don't consider Schumer or Gillibrand or any number of New York quote unquote Democrats.
Oh, Schumer's got to stop.
They're centrists. They are not Democrats. They're Democrats in name only. And I would call them dinos, but that's too cool a name. I'm not going to call you a dino because that I'm not. But like the fact it will always be the most damning thing. It's not the fact that Schumer has been given the same commencement speech for over 10 years. And it's not the fact that Schumer has been in power since the 90s and has watched literally all of this happen and done fuck all about it.
He's written a lot of stern letters.
Oh, including to me.
Yeah. Saying
that the only way to stop Trump after 6 weeks of letting him get away with whatever he wants is if I specifically give Schumer $5.
Yeah.
That's the only way that Schumer can do anything to fight this.
And it's sad. Trump is still at the top of my list of politicians that need to go, but as bad as all the other Republicans are, Schumer's number 2.
Oh, I'm at the point now where I want to look at the British and be like, listen, the British are basically our parents.
Yeah.
We learned by watching them. We learned how to be capitalist. We learned how to smoke weed by watching them. We learned how to drink by watching them. We learned how to go and colonize the entire fucking earth by watching them. I think we look to the British and say, hey, how do the British do when this fucking shit happens? Everybody is up. Yeah. Every seat is up. You got 2 weeks. Campaign for 2 weeks.
Yep.
Make me understand why you should keep your job. Otherwise, you're gone. You're just gone.
I agree.
Rip them all out. Get it all out of here. I'm done. Every seat. Every single fucking seat.
These multiple year election cycles have got to go.
I want
2 weeks.
Let's
say a month. You have a month.
I want, moving forward, I want not just hard caps on term limits. I want like so hard of cap that like it's like that pendulum. That pendulum needs to swing way back. It's so far out of whack that it needs to swing too far back in the other direction. I want you have 6 years maximum.
Yeah.
It's not 6 years until your next election. It's you have 6 years. That's it. And you're up for election every 2 years. Okay? So if you're not getting the job done, we can get you out of there real quick.
Yeah.
And you only got 6 years to get anything you want to get done. So I suggest you don't fucking dance around on this and get to fucking work. Because otherwise we will find someone that will do the job.
And to add on to that, the Supreme Court should be 10-year term limit, and we should elect. We should elect.
Yes. Again, strip the entire court. Yep. All of them out. We'll start again.
And let us elect them.
Yes. None of this, oh, my senator is going to take care of it.
Nope.
My senator is going to take care of it. No. Because in the same way that I don't want to damn all Texans, but I also can't help but look at the fact that Ted Cruz has been elected over and over and over again. And gerrymandering, I get it. But at the same time, Ted Cruz keeps getting elected for a reason.
No one fucking likes Ted Cruz.
And no one likes him, including anybody in your state.
But he still gets elected.
So you need to look at that. That's a huge problem.
Same with you, Maine and Susan Collins.
Yes.
Fucking stop.
For people that keep on saying, I hate my elected officials, then why do they keep winning?
Yeah.
Then why do they keep winning, okay?
Because people are so afraid of change. It's like, no, dude, change is good sometimes.
No, I'm literally root and branch. I want to rip the whole thing down and just start all over.
I agree.
Just like every seat's open. I love AOC. I love Bernie. I love Liz Warren. Every seat is open.
Yep.
Every seat. And if you're good, you'll get your job back. But right now, we got a real problem.
Yeah.
And we got to gut the House. It's
I agree.
all of it. And the
I
Senate.
agree.
Anyway, so we won.
Nice tangent.
But I'm angry.
Yes.
But we won. Speaking of, we won, but I'm angry, but we won. The Bills played today. Oh my God. Okay, so the Bills played the Saints today. For anybody who doesn't understand football or doesn't care, the Saints are in one of their Aints years. They're less Saints and more
They're
Aints.
0-4 now, one of the worst teams in the league.
And yet, the Bills were just like, I don't know. I got 3 wins. Are you sure you don't want one? I mean, I could use 4, and 4 would make a lot of people happy, but, like, you don't have any wins. Are you sure you don't want one, Saints? But are you sure? And they just kept on offering this game to them, and I was just like, what the fuck is going on here? Part of it was that the refs were some of the worst refereeing crew I've ever seen.
Except for the Adonis that was that
Captain Stack,
who was so roided out. I looked at Audrey and I'm like, do you see him? She goes, is he a player? I'm like, no. Dude was ripped.
Everybody looks at Ed Hockley and they're like, I gotta be the next Ed Hockley. I gotta work on my guns, man.
You can tell by like the definition in this dude.
The vascularity.
That was steroids, dude.
The vascularity.
Yeah.
It's clear that something.
Dude was ripped.
I almost talked about Predator. That was one of the things that, like, you can tell.
Yes.
When you look at Ventura and Schwarzenegger and Carl Weathers, you're just like, oh, all 3 of these guys are very, very used to needles at this point in their life.
In their buttocks.
Yeah. So I'm just going to throw this out there really quick as a quick aside. Predator is a really good movie, even all these years later. I fucking love Predator. Sometimes the plot makes no fucking sense, but the moment they realize that they're being hunted, you're like, that's fucking great.
It's the ultimate 80s movie. It doesn't need to make sense.
No,
it's just fun.
And I love that the inciting incident is the death of a character named Jim Hopper.
Yes.
That's great.
That is awesome.
I'm happy with this. Anyway, Predator is still great. Go watch it if you haven't. The Bills and the refs had a war of their own all day long, where the refs would just invent these calls. And then
they were weird.
CBS in some kind of, this is me with my tinfoil dunce cap on, but like CBS in some ways was like, oh, we don't need to show the replay of the penalty. And it was all game. It was like at some point the booth was like, listen, if we show this replay, people will get pissed because there's no fucking penalty here.
Well, especially that last drive for the Bills at the end of the second quarter going
Oh
into
my
halftime.
God.
We
had a
so
minute
ridiculous that when the
Bills fully
ran a
gave
play
up
and didn't get a call, the fans cheered
Yeah.
because there wasn't a call.
So for context, the Bills had a minute left. They got this great stop on the goal line, great interception by Cole Bishop, amazing job. I go back and forth on Bishop because he replaced Hamlin, and Hamlin is still on the team, but he's third string now.
Yes.
And I don't care for it. I think he's a better safety than Bishop is,
agree.
but Bishop is faster than him, which according to Coach
Bishop
McDermottitis,
did have a fucking amazing interception.
he had a
in that game.
great interception.
Dude, that was ridiculous.
He had a great interception.
Ridiculous.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But Bishop has this great interception. We're on the goal line. The Bills have a minute, no timeouts, but a minute, and Josh Allen can throw like 40 yards at a clip.
So now, the first penalty was a penalty.
Yes.
On the interception where the guy hit the guy out of bounds. That was just dumb.
Yeah.
It's like there was no reason to sideswipe that dude. He
Yeah.
was far enough back. He wasn't going to get him.
But then you had a holding call, a phantom holding call.
Phantom holding.
That nobody saw. Even the
Wasn't there an illegal shift then?
there was an illegal shift that again nobody saw.
Nobody saw.
There was then another holding call.
Yep.
That nobody saw. There was a false start on the snapper.
Yeah.
Which is always like, how? But okay, explain that to me. But how? My personal favorite was when we had finally, or rather, we had been forced to punt, and the Saints get a holding call. And I'm like, okay, finally, at least the Saints have a call on them. And they go to the 30-second break, and they run a Home Depot ad, and they come back, and they're still putzing around, and everybody lines up at the 35, and I'm like, okay, here we go. And then the refs come running in. Wait, hold on. We called that penalty on the wrong team. It was never on the Saints. It was always on the Bills. Here's an extra 10 yards from where it happened, which was 5 yards further up the field, so we're going to give you an extra 15 yards.
Yeah.
So wait, excuse me. You had 5 fucking minutes to figure this shit out. And you got to the point where everybody lined up for the snap.
Yeah.
And then you were like, wait, hang on. Hold on. Wait a minute. We haven't rigged this yet.
Yeah.
Give us a second. Okay? 1 minute. I gotta inject myself with roids and rig the shit out of this game. Holy crap. That made me so mad. I was like, are you fucking kidding? And then at the beginning of the third quarter, I'm not saying McDermottitis had a good game. In fact, there's a reason why I'm calling him McDermottitis. It was a really bad game for McDermott. Really bad. But one of the things that wasn't his fault was the fact that the refs wouldn't allow us to make a shift when the fucking Saints were making a shift. They said they can go, but not for you. Yes. You have to keep your personnel on the field. And so McDermott has to take a timeout to change personnel because they wouldn't let us change personnel.
Yeah.
What the actual fuck is happening here?
And in that moment is when I miss coaches like Mike Ditka.
Yeah.
Because if that would have happened with him, he would have been red in the face, spitting in the face of the ref.
Yeah.
Where McDermott was upset.
He was upset.
But it's like, no, dude.
He was only...
You need to be kicking dirt like you're in a baseball game, losing your shit.
I want Lou like Piniella.
That. Exactly.
I want fucking Lou Piniella.
You need to be saying every word in the book that they have to bleep you, even if you're mic'd up.
I want George, what's his nuts, from the Royals years and years and years.
Oh, George Brett. When they did the Pine Tar
running
game.
out. I want there to be a 15-yard penalty. Listen, if you're going to put us through this much trouble, you better fucking make the most of this. I'm so fucking done with this shit, man. Yeah. And here's the thing. We still won. We still won by double digits.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like it was a close game.
No.
It felt like an incredibly close game throughout the fourth quarter, but it never was actually that close. But after this in Miami, I'm just like, can we just like either A, play defense, or B, have to fight the refs? But I don't want to do both. Yeah. I don't want to have to do this thing where we can't play defense and the refs are rigging the calls against us. Because this is obscene. My buddy was at the game. He was like, nobody here believes these calls.
Yeah.
Nobody in the stadium believes any of these calls. And it just, at the very least, CBS... just show the replay for a few of them.
Yeah.
So there's some kind of idea.
Oh, you know the NFL's on the phone saying don't.
I know.
Yeah.
There was, at one point, they took Trey White out of the game because he kept on getting penalties. And fucking Jason McCourty, he is calling the game. And he's like, oh yeah, did you see that pass interference holding penalty on Trey White? And they run it back on replay for this one. And even he's like, oh, you know what? There wasn't that much there, but I guess that's enough. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I guess so, because that's just how it's going.
I've heard that exact statement in so many games so far this year because the refs have just been terrible.
Awful.
They need to get full-time refs.
So there's a few things we need to do.
Yeah.
One, we need to have... baseball is finally getting rid of umpires. I say in a big way, but not in an actual way. They're putting in an ABS system, which basically allows you to check certain pitches. So it's like a challenge system, but you can only challenge a certain number of pitches. But you can finally challenge and have a computer tell you if it's a ball or a strike, which is like enormous. Because as somebody who's been really watching a lot of baseball the last few years, holy shit, some of these umpires are fucking blind.
They're so full of themselves,
They're out at... It's insane. Yeah. I've never seen egotism from somebody who's not competing in the game.
Yeah.
You don't win or lose at the end of this game. Why are you letting your ego get in the way of this?
Power trip. They're running the show even though they're not playing.
You're insane. Yeah. You're on this crazy power trip where no one can talk to you about this and no one can change your mind, and you on your own mind are so infallible about everything. It's absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
Like, my favorite thing is when someone notes, like, hey, if both dugouts are shouting at you, you're probably doing something wrong.
Exactly.
Okay? And I just, like, I was so done with refs in this game. I'm so done. You'll be shocked to hear this. I'm so done with people that were nowhere near the play coming in to spot the ball. Fucking get that shit out of here.
Yep.
If you were 20 yards behind the play, you should not be spotting the ball. Full stop. We now have sensors in the ball that allow us to show if it's a first down or not. How about this? How about we just get rid of the refs spotting the ball altogether? They still physically spot the ball, but they have a little bug in their ear where someone calls them and says it's on the 69-yard line according to... There's no 69-yard line.
According to say 69.
According to the machines, according to the almighty machines in my ear, it's telling me to put it on the 49-yard line. Okay, it goes on the 49. I'm so sick of this shit, man. I'm so sick of this shit. And it's just, there's no accountability for any of the refs. And it makes me crazy. So bringing in robots, and I fully agree with you. The fact that refs are part-time, unionized, but not taught by the NFL to do their job.
Yeah.
That's insane.
For a multi-billion-dollar company.
This is literally the only thing you have them doing. They don't do anything else for the game, but you need a solid crew for every game, and you have 16 games a week. How are you not doing this? How are you not manually taking care of the whole thing, top to bottom? Like, this idea that you have no control and don't pay or employ the referees is insane. It's like NFL, it would make a lot more sense if you cried poor if we didn't see all the money you were raking in.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't believe you.
Unbelievable amounts.
This idea that you can't pay your refs and you can't afford for them to be full-time employees, and you can't open up ref schools, and you can't, teams are not able to cover the cost of their stadiums, even though most stadiums have huge swaths of them that are bought out by private businesses every week. So common fans can't necessarily get in or get to good seats. I was recently listening to a podcast, and someone talked about how the championship game is the actual game to go to if you're a fan, because the only people that go to Super Bowls are corporate bigwigs.
Yeah.
Because corporations are the only people that can buy these seats because they're so expensive.
Yep.
And so they'll just do these corporate retreats where they take their entire block to the Super Bowl. And so now it's like, oh, those are where all those seats went.
Yeah.
Is that IBM bought like an entire section. And it's just like,
it's fucking dumb.
This is horseshit.
It's so dumb.
And you're sitting here being like, oh, but we need taxpayers to help pay for the stadium, guys.
Oh, so full of shit.
We just fucking can't do it, okay?
So bullshit.
We just can't do it. We can't have alternate uniforms. It costs too much money, okay? It's just too expensive.
Yeah.
We can't do it. Bullshit. You're full of shit. You're all full of shit.
It's our fault, Dale.
I know.
We're still supporting these cocksuckers.
Here's the thing. I'm still watching the NFL on CBS, so what can I actually say at the end of the day?
And I gotta... To get back to the Bills.
Yes.
I still think Josh Allen is currently the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
I stand by that. But I don't think he's the best player on their team. I am 1,000% on James Cook.
I love you. That's crazy.
If you watch, think about what that team would be without James Cook.
Oh, I know.
When
I know because I saw it on fourth down.
Yeah. He is as unstoppable a force in those games, in every game they've played this year.
Yeah.
When he gets the ball, he's going to get 5 to 6 yards.
Yeah.
And it's unbelievable watching him,
Yeah.
he's not a big dude.
No.
But I honestly I believe if they took him out, the Bills would not be, because Allen would have to do more, he'd have to throw more, he'd have more turnovers. I think he truly is the thing that is holding that offense, because he is so fucking good.
Well, it's like we don't need to gather evidence because we were given evidence today in a moment of McDermottitis.
That was the worst fourth down
What
call.
the actual... I wanted to fire McDermott on that drive, and then on the ensuing drive, I wanted to fire Bobby Babich.
Yeah.
I was so done with everybody associated with the defense and that particular call on offense. Basically, what happens is you have 4 plays, and we really could use some points to if we get a field goal... There's like 5 minutes left in the game. If we get a field goal, the game's done.
Yeah.
It's over. We're done. We're moving on. They run James Cook for 1 play, and then they bring in Ty Johnson. I love Ty, but he's not James Cook.
No.
And then they bring in Ray Davis, to whom I always say, when someone asks you if you're a god, Ray, what do you say? And then he falls on the ground.
Yes. Pretty much.
And then they come in for 4th down. I'm like, great. I don't mind going for it on 4th. It's 4th and 2. Josh's arm is practically 6 feet long. We're fine. And they run this stupid, cutesy play where they hand off to Shakir.
Like
I love Shakir. It was barely an end around. It was like a fake kind of like we're having a conversation behind the line to before the snap to audible. And, we're not audibling. Here's the ball. It's going to go. Terrible. Absolutely,
the worst.
But ugly, the worst thing.
I still don't understand why more and more people don't, especially on a 4th and 2 like that, when you have the tight end core they have, which they did not utilize in this game.
No.
They did towards the end.
In spite of Hawes and fucking Kincaid having big receptions late in the game, those were also their only receptions in the game.
Exactly. But it's like, all you need is a 3-yard crossing pattern.
Yeah. That was it.
That's it.
All we need to do is hand it to James Cook.
Or hand it to James Cook, exactly.
Give it to James Tiberius Cook.
Dude.
Just shove him up the middle. What are we doing?
He was fucking torching them in this game. Like, it was unbelievable.
I also want to write a letter to James Cook and be like, listen, I know everybody calls you Jimbo, and I guess you like that. But Jimbo to me is the bully from The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you rather be called Tiberius?
Yes. James Tiberius.
James Tiberius Cook.
JTK.
Wouldn't you rather be James Tiberius Cook? Because I'm not going to call you Captain Cook because the Hawaiians will be very upset about that.
Yeah.
But every time you make a big play, I scream Tiberius.
Yeah.
Tell me that wouldn't be fucking dope.
That'd be fucking
Come
awesome.
on.
But yeah, so I still think the Bills are in such a good spot.
Oh,
there.
yeah, we're going to be fine. It's just one of those, like, God damn it. I wanted to win this game big, and this was the second week in a row where it's like, oh, you guys are going to be fine. And then I'm sitting here being like, God damn it, God damn it, God damn it. Terrell Bernard almost got hurt because he got stepped on.
Oh,
like,
my
all
God.
these so many stupid fucking mistakes that we didn't need to make. We survived, but I'm tired of surviving. The only other thing that I think is worth mentioning is that the Giants won today, which is crazy. That's great.
Insane.
The big news all week was that Russell Wilson is cooked, which, like, I love Russ. That may be the worst fourth down series.
Oh, that was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
I've never seen anything that bad. But, like, that, especially that last goal line attempt may have been the worst goal line attempt I've ever seen. Outrageously bad. So bad that you're just watching it and you're like, how can this be?
And what makes me mad is I wish he would have had that kind of game against Dallas, so they would have put Dart in because they would have beat the Chiefs last week.
They would have won against the Chiefs last week.
With Dart.
100%.
Yes.
Dart
1000%.
immediately looks way more competent.
Oh, my God.
And way more engaged.
Yeah.
Like, he actually looks like he cares about this. Russ is, like, he seems like, again, I love Russell Wilson.
He's so aloof.
But he's so aloof about the whole thing.
Yeah.
He went from being somebody who seemed to care a lot to being somebody who likes to pretend to care but can't really be bothered to care when it matters most.
Well, I saw an interview recently with Marshawn Lynch was on the Shannon Sharp podcast, and he was saying that when he played with Russ, he used to get blocked calls because Russ wouldn't give out his phone number to players on his team. And you would have to set up an appointment for him to call you, but then he would call you from a blocked number so you wouldn't have his number.
Yeah.
It's like, you're the fucking leader of the team and you're doing that shit?
No, there's going back to a podcast that I've talked about a lot this year, Pablo Torre Finds Out, has a great podcast where he talks to Mike Tice's son, who roomed with Russell Wilson and was QB2 under Russell Wilson at Wisconsin. And so they just talk about, like, what was it like being Russell Wilson's roommate in college? And this guy's like, dude, he was fucking weird then. Yeah. The whole time he's been fucking weird. The whole Go Hawks thing, that was an accident. That was an accident that people liked when he did it in Wisconsin. And so he did part of the fight song in Wisconsin and people loved it. And he was like, this is now my personality. And it's like, dude, I want to like you. You got to not be weird. Don't have 20-something bathrooms in your house.
No.
Don't be weird. Stop being weird. And if you're going to be weird, at least be a decent quarterback.
Well, at least I would say we don't have to worry about it because I believe his career's over now.
Yeah, well, at least in New York. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets...
I don't see another team offering him anything.
Call me crazy. With how bad Minnesota looked today with Wentz, I wouldn't be surprised if Minnesota is looking for someone just to keep the boat afloat.
I really don't think they would.
I don't know. They have better wide receivers than the Giants do. They can do the moon ball that Russ likes to shoot.
I
just wouldn't be surprised.
I really don't think they would do it.
Them and Cincinnati, I would not be surprised if either of these teams trade for Russ because it's also a cheaper value than getting Kirk Cousins.
I would honestly, if I was them, I would go after like Shedeur Sanders, even though he doesn't have any pedigree. He's young, he's hungry, and he has something to prove.
Yeah, but so
I would almost throw just a dime at him.
At that point, I would say go for Dorian Thompson-Robertson.
Well, then do that.
Like, I guess, like my point is like you get
nothing. The whole Jackson Dart thing shows that players like Russ, who have already burned all their bridges, and they just don't have that fire left. It's like, you're just going to waste your time.
Well, the crazy thing is that now people are saying that Russ played his way out of the Hall of Fame, which I think is a little crazy.
I think it's crazy-ish.
I get why some people are saying it. I get why Richard Sherman is saying it.
Yeah, Richard Sherman has a bone.
He has a beef.
Yeah,
he has a full-blown beef with Russell Wilson. But, and to like this classic Richard Sherman, he's kind of invented a narrative to go along with why he hates Russ that may or may not be fully true. Richard Sherman has done this a lot in his career. He has kind of invented these narratives of like, oh, this person did this to me. It's like, but not really. Like, that never really actually happened. There was, at one point, he was like, oh yeah, Jim Harbaugh hates me. He won't talk to me. And it was because he ran up and slapped him on the butt after a game that they played against each other. And Jim Harbaugh didn't acknowledge him. And so Richard Sherman's like, oh, he hates me. He won't talk to me anymore. It's like,
just
okay,
let the man on his ass.
Let's take a pause.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a quick pause on this. But I am genuinely curious. As I said last time, I'm a soft G Giants fan. So a Giants fan, if you will. Yeah. And if Dart can be good, I really would love to see the Giants be good. Also, just the irony of finding out that after everything that happened between these two teams on one specific night, Eli Manning never beat the Chargers in his entire career. Yeah. Which was a fascinating thing to find out.
Unfortunately, the stadium took another victim.
Yeah.
Malik Neighbors blew out his knee.
Yeah,
he's done.
He's done. Done for the season. He's out.
I still don't understand. You have two teams playing, two different organizations with all that money. They can't put a new field.
Well, they keep on putting in new fields, but they keep on putting in new turf fields.
Yes, they gotta put grass.
Put a grass field in, you dumb shit.
You have an open fucking stadium.
Why are you not doing this? Just put in a grass field.
Dude.
What the actual fucking...
But now, honestly...
The Cardinals and Raiders both play in domes, and they have grass fields in the desert!
Yeah.
What is actually wrong with you?
Which the Arizona one is so fucking awesome. Have you seen that one?
It goes outside.
Yeah, it rolls outside.
Yeah.
It's so fucking awesome. But, to me, I'm like, they are the dumbest.
Yeah.
Like, the Giants don't give a fuck about winning if they're going to continue to have that field.
Well,
because your best fucking player. And that was Barkley's issue with all of his injuries that he had when he was
kept on getting
the Giants.
hurt.
Yeah.
Getting these knee injuries because the turf just eats you alive. And it just, every time we go to MetLife, I'm just sitting there praying like, please God, not today.
Yeah.
Just not today.
Yeah.
Okay. Do it to someone else. Jimmy Hoffa, I don't know who I need to pray to about this, but just not today. Okay, man. Do you think they moved Jimmy Hoffa's body when they moved the stadium?
Yeah, maybe.
Probably, right? Yeah. So the only other thing that I wanted to note is, that you should not look at the Chiefs.
I'm not going to look at it. I don't want to know. You know what? As soon as the Chargers lost, I'm like, the Chiefs are going to win.
Yeah, don't look at the Chiefs score. Yeah, and that's really it because everybody else is just schmucks. It's like, oh, the Patriots beat the shit out of the Panthers. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Great. Moving on.
The Titans got absolutely
Titans got shellacked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Surprise.
Cool.
Yeah.
Fire Brian Callahan. All I can tell you. You know what? No. I don't want to be nice to the Titans. I still don't like the Titans. All these years later, I will never like the Titans. Okay? I was watching a Bills game, and they started playing the Music City Miracle. We weren't playing the Titans.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the actual fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck? It's like whenever we line up for a game-winning kick, and they're like, let's play wide right. I'm gonna hurl something at your head.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get the heaviest thing I can and throw it right at your head.
I still can't even call them the Tennessee Titans. You're the Houston Oilers. Just fucking live with it.
Well, you know the funny thing about that, right?
No.
When Bud Adams moved the team, he refused to relinquish the rights to the name or colors for the Oilers, which is why
the Texans
are the Texans, and why they have a different color scheme and all these other things.
Oh,
so even though the Titans aren't using the same color scheme anymore, no one else can either, because that's owned by the Houston Oilers, who are no longer a team.
That's so dumb.
Yeah, Bud Adams was a fuckhead.
He's a fucking
He's
idiot.
a fuckhead, and his daughter is only doing marginally better. Let me tell you. The fact that you... Listen, again, I don't like you guys. So you want to run out Mike Vrabel and keep your terrible GM who traded A.J. Brown? You go right ahead.
Yeah.
More power to you.
Traded A.J. Brown and let Derrick Henry go.
Yeah.
And got rid of Mike Vrabel. It's like, dude.
But kept Ryan Tannehill. And that,
genius.
That was the sauce.
Genius.
That was the secret sauce.
Genius.
Yeah. So we're gonna finish up real quick with a trip to the trailer park. I need to.
And we forgot to bring up one when we were talking earlier. It's Stranger Things trailer.
I haven't watched it.
There's a new Stranger Things trailer.
Is there?
There's going to be 3 movies.
It's an 8-episode season.
It looks like... so they must be dropping it in 3 segments.
They're dropping it in 3 segments,
Yeah,
yes.
they gave the 3 dates.
Yeah, they're dropping it in 3 segments, but it's an 8-episode season.
Dude, trailer looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, I just want you to land the plane. I just want you to land the plane.
It looks like they're going to land the plane.
Yeah. So that's my biggest concern. I don't... The time jump, I have to grant it to you because Erica just graduated high school. So she can't play an 8th grader.
Yeah.
I have to grant you the time jump. Just be really smart. This is like telling like this 15-year-old needs to get somewhere. It's like, okay, I'm going to give you the car even though I really feel like I shouldn't. Please be smart.
Dude, it looks so good.
Please just be smart. That's all I am asking. Will's going to die, right? Everybody has money on Will dying.
I'm going to make it a proclamation here. Everyone still believes, and I love this show, but everyone still believes, or not believes, but it's in all the countdowns, that Breaking Bad is the #1 TV show ever made. I think if they stick the landing on this, Stranger Things will have to go down as the best TV show. In reality, there isn't a season that I didn't like. There might be an episode here and there, like the whole 11 flashback with her sister.
Oh my god!
But
you remember when that was the thing?
Oh, that was terrible.
Do you remember 8? Does anybody remember the character 8? Holy shit!
But like as a general start to finish, if they stick this landing, it would be the best show.
Oh yeah, I mean, like again, this is just from a personal standpoint. But I think it's extremely telling that I've watched Stranger Things 5 or 6 times all the way through. And I still have on my list Return to Breaking Bad. So I think that in my own very biased sense, I think that is extremely telling of just like, also, not for nothing, but like I've seen Breaking Bad, not all of it, but enough of it. I've seen Mad Men, not all of it, but enough of it. I've seen all these shows, fucking The Walking Dead. I guess Severance is up in this class of show now. Billions, I've heard a lot of people talk about. All these shows, anytime I see clips from them, I'm like, this is just mean people being mean to each other. Yeah. But not in like a Always Sunny way. Like I've been watching a lot of Always Sunny.
I fucking love
and I love Always Sunny.
That's so good.
Because it's just like, it can be deeply emotional, but at the same time, it's also just like really shitty people behaving really shittily to each other and then getting their full comeuppance.
Yeah. It's the Seinfeld method. They're following the Seinfeld method.
Well, it's just, hey, we'll always come back to Frank giving money to Charlie and Dee and Dennis being like, but what about us? And him turning to them and being like, you're crackheads, children.
You're crackheads, children. That's fucking best.
I can't give you money. You're crackheads.
I love that. It's such a great show.
I just love that show. I can't help it. It's a great fucking show. I watched the episodes where they went to Ireland for the first time.
Oh, nice.
It's a really good little mini-series. It's really funny.
Yeah.
And it has an incredibly touching ending. Like a crazy, like one of those, where did this come out of the, it's like, I don't know if anybody's, have you seen the season after Mac comes out as gay, where he's like really, really muscular?
Oh yes.
And he has this scene in the last episode where he does this interpretive dance number, and it's like genuinely beautiful.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
It's genuinely beautiful.
It reminded me of the ballet number they did in Singing in the Rain with Gene Kelly and Debbie Reynolds.
And you're just left being like, and this is the Nightman?
Yeah.
And this is the Nightman. This is the same guy that was the Nightman who was like, I want to play the Nightman because he has cat eyes. Where did you read that he had cat eyes? Oh, I just made it up, but I'm really excited about it now. Yeah. That's him. It's the same guy. And so I love Always Sunny. Charlie has a great moment in the Ireland episodes. And it's just, it's
such a great show.
Deeply touching. We have to get to the trailer part. Yes. Okay, so first and foremost, I want to hit the top of the note. The Bride, which has been talked about for a while, has a trailer, which looks...
Maggie Gyllenhaal
directs it. Christian Bale's...
Frankenstein.
This looks really intriguing.
It does.
I'm not sure what the plot is. It has like kind of a 1920s New York vibe to it.
It's kind of like a modernist take, and when I say modern, I mean like 1950s take on the Bride of Frankenstein story.
Post-industrial.
But it's where Frankenstein's monster makes her and not Frankenstein himself.
Frankenstein's monster has decided he wants a mate, and so he makes a mate.
And he literally kills her and then brings her back.
Without her memories.
As his mate.
And so it's like, I'm just watching this, and I can't help but kind of compare it to Poor Things, which is very similar in a lot of ways.
I got that same vibe.
And I just kind of... It does not spark joy in the way that the trailer for Poor Things was like, oh, this looks weird and a little upsetting, but I want to watch it. This was like, I don't mind this, but I'm not... There's nothing that's grabbing me by the lapels and being like, you got to watch it.
I tell you, though, Christian Bale's take on Frankenstein's monster looks fucking awesome.
I'll say this: his nose might be the reason I don't make it through that movie.
Oh yeah,
his nose is just grotesque.
It's so fucked
Trying
up.
to look at him, like he already had the giant fucking mole next to his eye. I don't know if you've never noticed it before. Notice it now, and know that you will never not notice it again.
You'll always notice
it. Will always be there, and you will never be able to be like, oh yeah, a totally normal set of eyes.
Yeah.
But this was just like, I saw that and I was just like, I don't know, this makes me a little squeamish. I won't lie to you. It makes me a little squeamish. I don't love it.
Yeah.
So, but I like Maggie Gyllenhaal. This has a really good cast.
It's a Netflix movie.
It's a Netflix movie.
So we won't have to pay to watch it.
It has a really good cast.
Yes.
I kind of just want to watch it in a way to watch Maggie Gyllenhaal direct Jake Gyllenhaal in something.
Yeah, I'm curious about that.
I'm kind of curious about that.
Very curious about that.
In this milieu of like we've had Voyage of the Demeter, and we've had fucking Nosferatu, and the werewolf movie that came out a few years ago that I'm blanking on the name of at the moment. But like there have been several of these, like here's this retelling of this classic monster story. So I am curious, but I'm not ready to sell on it yet.
Yeah.
Or buy. I guess buy would be the better
Well,
metaphor.
I'm trying to remember, does this come out before or after Benicio del Toro's...
I think after. I think this is December. And I think
it
Benicio's is November.
Not Benicio. I keep saying Benicio.
Guillermo
del Toro. Yeah. Guillermo's... I think that needs to be a success.
Yeah.
And that might give me a little more hope. I know they're different movies, different filmmakers.
Yeah.
But they're both kind of interpretations on the same story. Or not same story. The same...
Concept.
So... I'm kind of... I think if Guillermo's works, it'll give me a little more excitement for The Bride.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of wondering, it would make sense if, like, maybe him and Maggie got together and, like, kind of shared notes on things. So there is some kind of cohesion.
Yeah.
I know you're going to have a different Frankenstein monster in each one, but it's like...
And they're going to take place years apart from each other.
But it's like maybe have like a similar kind of, at least a little similarity here or there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But it's intriguing.
I'm intrigued by it, but I'm not ready to buy on it yet. And so this is definitely like one of those, this feels to me more like one of those, it's going to come out and I'm going to be like, oh, The Bride came out.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to watch as people watch it on the internet. And then depending on their reaction, I'll either go and watch it or I'll come back 3 months later. I'm like, oh, The Bride. I still haven't watched that.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to keep moving on down the road. Mandalorian and Grogu.
Dude.
I'm watching this trailer and all I'm saying to myself is just be better than season 3. That's all I need from you. I need from you is to be better than season 3.
And I heard this reaction from someone online and I totally agree with it. It looks like a made-for-TV movie.
I don't mind that because The Mandalorian is kind of a made-for-TV movie in and of itself.
That is true.
So I don't mind that. My concern is that we're gonna fall into something we don't want to fall into.
Yeah.
A la the Mandalorians in season 3, where you're just like, okay, so you told us this thing about Mandalore, and then it ended up not being true, but like nobody went back anyway, and every time we talk to anybody, they kind of counter what we've been told by numerous sources on things. So like, I don't know what's true anymore. Because it wasn't like it was an unreliable narrator. It's more like a retcon.
Yeah.
And I kind of... You're playing it like it's an unreliable narrator, but it feels like a retcon.
And I'll be honest, and I'm going to get ridiculed for this, and this is blasphemy in a lot of people's eyes. My favorite episodes of The Mandalorian didn't have Grogu in them.
Really?
They were like the dark... Like that, my favorite one is that one with him and Bill Burr, the second one that Bill Burr
was in. Yeah.
That's my all-time favorite, because I think that episode's great, but it's the ones that they're not like always cutting to Grogu like, do you remember this toy?
Yeah.
You got to go buy this toy for your kid. And it's like, that's where Grogu kind of sat with me as he was the toy seller of the show.
If Grogu can become a character again, because I agree with you. By season 3, it felt like Grogu was a merchandising option. It was like, here's IG-88 with Grogu in a papoose. And it's like, okay, but like, is Grogu going to be anything important? Or is he just going to be this smiling MacGuffin that we cut to every once in a while? And MacGuffin is nice in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So if it does feel like Grogu has agency at times in this trailer, I'm very curious. Him wandering around in the sewers, that looks like it could be fun. The look of it looks really good.
It looks like there's a lot of practical effects, which is nice.
But this is again, it's the Marvel issue all over again of just like, you've overdrawn from the bank. So it's very, very hard for me to be like, I'm all in on this like I do with Stranger Things, where it's like, you have this time jump and all this other stuff that I need to worry about, but I'm all in. I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Here, I'm like, I want to be all in, but season 3 was bad, and
really
Book of
bad.
Boba Fett wasn't good.
It was
and,
really bad.
It's been a while since Mandalorian season 2, and that was the last time that I can point to anything and be like, see, you can do really good stuff. The Darksaber episode in the middle of Book of Boba Fett is great.
Yes.
But we would be lying to say that that's like a natural feeling of like, this makes sense in this place to have this thing. It's no, that was a lifesaver thrown off into the middle of the ocean.
A horrible show.
Because Book of Boba Fett was such a tragedy.
Yeah.
Of just like, this is bad. All of it's bad.
I agree.
So I want to like this. I want to be excited for it. I might be excited for it next year. As it stands, I'm optimistic, which is more than I can say for the last few Star Wars projects. Not to say that I think it's going to be good, but just that I'm optimistic that it could be good. Another thing I'm optimistic could be good, even though I saw it and I was like, really? The Paul Rudd,
the
Jack
Anaconda.
Black Anaconda film, which is just like, I saw that and I was just like, what is this? And then I saw the trailer and I was like, this might be really funny. This could be really funny.
And here's the thing, if they can lean into what made, and I just saw this recently, the movie This Is the End,
Mm-hmm.
if they can lean into that where they play exaggerated versions of themselves and they make fun of themselves, I think that could be something.
Yeah.
But I didn't get a warm feeling from this.
I'm deeply curious. This is definitely not like a day and date for me.
It's got to be rated R. If it's not rated R, I'm
then
writing
who
it
cares?
off 100%.
Then it's that's it. That's game. If it's not rated R, then I'm not here for it.
It can't be good.
I want this to be very tongue-in-cheek, but I do want it to be a genuine movie. It's not like the original Anaconda was some kind of great piece of art. So you have an opportunity to do something fun.
Yeah.
The joke of it being that these two people love Anaconda, but they know that it's a bad movie, so they're going to make it into a good movie. That's funny.
That's
funny. Genuinely funny. And Jack Black and Paul Rudd are good enough to do it. Steve Zahn's along for the ride.
I love
Steve Zahn. So like I think this could be way funnier than I thought it was going to be when I first saw images of it. It has kind of like a Tropic Thunder Jumanji, but for adults kind of feel.
Well, in that, I'm glad you brought that up because honestly, also 2 days ago, I watched the director's cut of Tropic Thunder, which I haven't seen in a while, and it is still easily in my top 5 of greatest movies ever made. Like, I love that movie so much. I was thinking about it. That movie was kind of the jump the shark moment for Jack Black. I think it is his best movie, and since then, he hasn't really
It's been very hot
like Pick
and
a
cold.
Destiny. I think came out before that.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
And I liked Pick a Destiny a lot, but like his live action movies since then have been.
Some of them are good. Some of them I'm just like, I just kind of am left wondering. Like, that was my reaction to Jumanji. I was like, isn't this a weird kind of sidestep for you? That was during that period where he was doing a lot of children's movies, The Clock in the Walls, and the Goosebumps movie, and all this other stuff. And I've only ever, not only, but my experience with Jack Black is decidedly more adult in its nature usually. So I was always surprised when it's like, oh, he's making kids movies. Okay, that's where he's
all right. Like, he was all right.
That's the thing, is that none of them are bad, and he's not bad in any of them.
No.
He's fine.
But it's not.
Yeah.
I think I still have such a sour taste in my mouth after the Minecraft movie.
I think that also doesn't help because, like, I did not see the Minecraft movie, and I don't have that same feeling. Like, I look at Jason Momoa's current show that he's doing on Apple.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that looks great. And I don't think about the Minecraft movie and all that other nonsense. So it's just like, I don't know.
I still don't get the whole Momoa making these. Because the show he's making now looks similar to the one where he was blind that he made on Apple.
But it just takes place in, like, pre-colonized Hawaii.
Polynesian,
It looks good.
It looks
right. Really good. I might check it out at some point. But, I say that about a lot of things.
Yeah, true. We don't have any time in life.
I could make the time, but it has to be important enough for me to be like, yes, this is worth me stopping what I'm doing to make time to do this.
I concur.
So the last two that I wanted to hit on before we move on to bigger fare is in a Matrixonian style, 28 years later is already getting a sequel, a follow-up. called The Bone Temple, and
Looks fine.
I think this looks good. My concern is that it comes out in January.
Yeah.
The fact that it comes out in January is a huge red flag to me.
Well, it makes me wonder if they film these
almost at the same
concurrently,
time. Yeah.
And then the directors just swapped out once they hit a certain thing.
Like, it almost feels like Alex Garland wrote 2 scripts or wrote a really, really long script, and they were like, okay, we're going to turn these into 2 movies.
Yeah.
And so Danny Boyle is doing 28 Years Later, and then they have this other person doing 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple.
Yeah.
And they're filming literally at the same time because the makeup and everything looks exactly the same. The boy looks like he's the same age. Ray Fiennes looks exactly the same.
When the boy looks the same age.
Looks
so
exactly
I'm
the
thinking
same.
They had to have filmed him right away.
And for them to have come out so close together. Yeah. So I think this could be really good. I think it's going to be kind of a memorandum on that Power Ranger ending.
Yes.
Because I think that's really going to be what we're going to be leaning into here. It seems like it's going to be the Power Rangers find the Bone Temple.
Yeah.
And now the kid from 28 Years Later has to kind of, Spike, I want to say his name was Spike, has to kind of come to terms with this crowd I fell in with is not who I thought they were. Mm-hmm. And this person who really did this big, super meaningful spiritual thing for me is in danger.
Yeah.
So where do I fit into all of this?
And it looks like it's going to be a lot of Ray Fiennes'
backstory.
Yeah.
And so I'm very curious about this. I think it could be really good. But man, that January release date.
Yeah.
It's got me chilled to the core.
It's a little weird.
I'm just nervous. I'm
feels
just
like
nervous. It feels like they knew that half the script wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
And so they, for whatever reason, they decided, no, we're going to still make it, but we're going to have it be separate from the rest of the movie that does work. And this is going to be all the parts that didn't work from the first movie. Mm-hmm. So if that's the case, I don't know. That could be really bad.
I know. I'm fingers crossed on that one.
So I don't know. I did like that you pointed out that they CGI'd pants onto the zombies. That was great.
What are the alpha zombies, whatever they were called in it,
that just swinging dick.
Around,
just hanging brain the whole way through, and not in the trailer.
Not in the trailer. Saw some good old CGI slacks.
Some nice brown pants. I just love the idea of these. Like, I just love the idea of being like, okay, I have my job today is to put pants on this zombie.
Yeah.
Okay. So first off, I have to spend all day not looking at this zombie dick while I go back and forth between working on putting on pants and not.
Dick.
And then second, I have to decide what level of wear and tear have these pants that won't make the final film gone through.
Yeah.
So are these straight off the rack at JCPenney's, or did you pick them up from a Goodwill, or did they come out of the trash? And but I do want this movie to be good. But very few things that are good come out in January.
Yes, I agree.
So that's the problem. To finish things up, to finalize things, and to kind of kick off into the next segment, I finally watched the trailer for Marvel Zombies. This comes out. This came out. This is already out. We haven't watched it yet. The trailer came out weeks ago, but still within that grace period of like, so you guys have been working on this and it's coming out in 3 weeks, and you haven't had any trailers for it?
Yeah.
Okay.
See, and this is where I'm slightly concerned, especially after the last season of What If, which was
I haven't watched season 3 of What If. Season 2 of What If left such like a tang in my mouth.
You wouldn't like season 3 then, because it's more tangy.
Yeah.
And it's
so I turned to Kelly and I looked at this and I said the big leading concern that I have is that this is all tier 3 characters.
Yes.
And this is like MCU tier 3 characters. This isn't like how we're going to talk. Congratulations, folks. We're going to review Fantastic Four in a little bit. This isn't like how in Fantastic Four they name drop some C tier characters.
Yeah.
Or how in She-Hulk they had Leapfrog. And you're kind of like, ooh, okay, that's interesting. Oh, now I'm engaged. Now I want to see what you do. This is like, oh, do you like Yelena and Red Guardian?
Well, that's the problem.
And Shang-Chi and Aquafina? Because they're the entire show.
Yeah.
There is. Oh, we have Blade, who might be Moon Knight.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's just the characters that you don't care about.
And I really don't want the new, I'm doing quotation, the new Avengers to be a major focus in this.
Feels
and
like
it looks like they will. It
feels like this is going to be, the plot of this is going to be like a quiet, let's do a tester run on the quote unquote new Avengers and the young Avengers, because you have Kamala Khan and Kate Bishop and a few other young Avengers show up. And so it's like, yeah, you have Zombie Abomination. And that's really interesting to me. And you have this shot of Spider-Man webbing a bunch of heads off of zombies, which is interesting, but immediately tells me that you're not doing the actual Marvel Zombies story.
Because easily one of them,
he's one of the big ones.
Yeah.
He's arguably one of the main characters of Marvel Zombies.
Yep.
So could this be good? Absolutely, it could.
I don't have a lot of faith.
Given that What If is a show that has so much grace. I give it so much grace when it fails. And it's like I'll be watching, the first season, which I like. By and large, I really like the first season. But I'm watching the first Captain Carter episode, and she's saying quippy one-liners to no one.
Yeah.
And I'm watching the T'Challa as Star-Lord episode, and you have Thanos and the I'm blanking on the Black Dwarfs or whatever the name of his group is.
No, I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
They don't care that he's on the side of the Ravagers. What's happening? I'm going to give you grace, but sometimes you do things, and I'm just like, okay. And we needed to spend an entire episode on this. Why?
Well, it's because Marvel, there are two things they can't do. They can't write female characters well, and they can't write humor.
Yeah.
Because they don't know where to put it. They don't know how far to go with it. They don't know what tone to do with it. They just don't know how to do it.
Humor just goes wherever you need it to go at that moment.
Exactly.
Whether it makes sense to go there or not, it just goes wherever you need it to go in that moment. If it's getting too scary, put in a joke.
Poster child Trevor Slattery.
If it's getting funny, put in another joke.
Yeah.
If it feels like it's going to be a cool moment that should be quiet, put in a joke. If it feels like it's just a plane flying overhead, put in a joke.
Yeah.
If this is a clearly 80-yard moment where you just felt like it kind of sagged a little bit, put in a joke. If that's
and
how
a bad joke for that.
Marvel doesn't know good humor.
They don't know good humor.
They don't know what good humor is.
No.
So we'll get to that in Fantastic Four too.
Yeah.
I look at this and I think that I'm going to watch this when I watch. Either I'm going to watch it for Halloween specifically, all on my own, with no one else in the house, or I'm going to watch it when I watch What If Season 3, which is to say, it's hard to say when I'm going to watch that.
See, and I'll probably watch Marvel Zombies, but to me, I'm like, if I'm going to watch a horror Marvel, I'm just going to watch Werewolf by Night again.
Yeah.
The black and white version, folks, not the
true version.
The true version.
Yeah.
I'm just going to watch that again.
Yeah.
Because I know that's good.
Yeah.
And I know I'll enjoy them.
Yeah. So, I don't think that this is going to be bad. I just don't know if this is going to be anything. That shot where it's like, oh, we have T'Challa and the head of Paul Rudd and Spider-Man. And it's like, this is going to be the show. This is going to be the entire show. Yeah. And if you're not in for that, then there's not going to be anything for you here, because the show is going to be poorly written bits that are kind of staged around this idea of the young characters going up against the old characters.
And the Kraven the Hunter vibe I got from it is, and we're edgy, so we're going to have a lot of violence, but it's not going to make sense in a lot of areas.
And it's still going to be written for children.
Yes.
So there's going to be violent. This is the big thing.
This is not for children, but it is for children.
This was my issue with the What If Marvel Zombies episode, and it's what I see here. Is this idea of, who did you write this for?
Exactly.
Because it's way too violent for it to be for kids, but none of the writing is for adults.
No.
So who did you write this for? This has Big Happy going bam, 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 bam whenever he shoots off an arc reactor. It's like, who is this for? Who is this? That's
the vibe I got.
Who is Paul Rudd saying dad jokes? Who's this for?
Yeah.
Who is Spider-Man being a baby and not being able to handle anything? Who is this for?
Yeah.
This weird moment where Sharon turns into a zombie and then the wasp explodes her and she says, I have Sharon all over me, when she was having breakfast with Sharon that day.
Yeah.
What is this? I don't know what this is or what I'm supposed to do with this. And so, you have a cool scene of Blade Moon Knight killing Ghost. Cool. Is there going to be any substance to anything?
That's the thing is, it's unfortunately because you blew it, no one knows who the fuck he is.
No.
We do because we remember the Mahershala Ali announcement
We
that
know
he was
that
going to be Blade.
We know that he did dialogue for a Marvel thing at some point, so we assume that this guy who is shown as Moon Knight, he's wearing Moon Knight's costume.
Looks just fucking like him.
But he has a sword, and he has Mahershala Ali's face and voice, and so it's like, okay, so he's Blade, but he also has the blessing of Khonshu, which is like, okay, why? You've put a hat on a hat. Is this like, oh, Khonshu, so Mark died and became a zombie? And Khonshu had to get a new avatar and chose Blade? Is Black Knight also going to show up in this? Like, what? Do you have a plan, or is this just going to be like, put everything in it and whatever flies
and I'll be
to
honest,
the
that's
surface?
the only reason I want to watch it is there's so many questions.
Yeah. The stuff with Namor, okay, this is interesting, but it's not going to do anything to validate the way that you use Namor, and it's not going to do anything to make me feel better about anything or hopeful for the future. So what's the point of it? Yeah. What's the point of it?
I agree.
So we're going to see, but I think the big thing that I can take away from this, and I'll use this as a springboard, unless you have anything else to talk about, to talk about Fantastic Four, is that Marvel almost needs to leave the MCU proper alone.
Yes.
And stop trying to do stuff in universe. You ruin that universe.
Yes. You need a full reboot.
And the way that I know this is because I watched Fantastic Four.
Yes.
And it was way better than a lot of the other Marvel shit that I've seen recently.
And that is what we're going to touch on with Fantastic Four, folks. So we are going to review Fantastic Four First Steps is what it's called.
This was the best Marvel movie I've seen in about 4 years.
Best Marvel movie. Still
has problems.
Still has some problems.
Still has problems.
But
there's still a lot of moments.
Tried.
There's still a lot of moments where I'm like, okay, but if you didn't do that, then this wouldn't be a problem.
And I wonder if you have the same. It was a moment early on in the movie that gave me hope. It's when they were showing a flashback of them fighting, and it was the cover of the first episode.
I got the biggest grin.
Yeah.
When you had that shot.
Yes.
I got so excited. And then when the Mole Man tries to steal the Pan Am building, I'm like, we're doing it, guys. We're fucking doing it.
Yes.
We made it. We got an idea and we're running with it and it's going to be cool. And then you name drop El Diablo and Red Ghost and the Super Apes and like, okay, Wizard? You brought up Wizard. Nobody told you had to bring up Wizard, but you did. Dr. Doom is never said once.
No.
In the entire movie.
No.
This is what we've been waiting 20 years for.
Yeah. And
you did it!
This should have been the movie right after Endgame.
Yes.
They should have done this.
And what does this movie have that makes it so much better than a lot of the Marvel movies? One, panache. It has a sense of self. It has an identity of what it wants to look like, how it wants to feel. The whole art design of it is unique to itself.
And my concern with the whole... get Ben to say clobbering time. They downplayed a lot of the humor throughout the movie. Yeah. Which was huge for me.
I still didn't care for that.
No, I didn't care for it either, but it wasn't as big a thing.
It reminds me of how in the trailer they show Johnny shooting through the sky and he's holding Ben.
Yes.
And I was like, but how? Johnny can't lift Ben. It's physically impossible for Johnny to lift Ben. It is. He's not lifting, he's steering Ben.
Yes.
Okay, now we can do it.
Yes.
Now we got it. Now we know what we're doing. We have a mentality. We have a vision. And what else helped with this vision? Not having the last 20-something years of canon to try and fit it into the same box of... Yes. Because Lord knows that box is A, full, and B, broken as shit. There's no corners to that box anymore. Yes. I think that there's an entire flap missing.
I agree.
Like, the fact that this could sustain itself in its own universe.
Yes.
Without having to be like, it's been this many years since the snap. Or for us, let's be real. Marvel has never said how many years it's been since the snap. But here, that wasn't an issue because the snap hasn't happened.
And I do appreciate, and now there are going to be spoilers in this, folks. It's going to be streaming on Z Plus soon. It's been out long enough. We can do spoilers. I do appreciate that it was called Planet or Earth 828 because that was the
Jack
month
Kirby.
and day of Jack Kirby's birth.
Yes.
That was fucking awesome.
This is what we're talking about.
That was fucking awesome.
This is what we've been asking for so fucking long. Why did it take this long? Why was it this hard to do? This is all we've wanted the whole time.
I do have to say this before I don't want to forget this, and I will after this conversation. The funniest part of this movie was not said by one of the actors, it was said by my daughter. Because we put it on the big screen in my house, so we watched it on a 120-inch screen. It was awesome. At the end, when Franklin saves Sue, as he touches her, my daughter goes, "Magic space baby powers."
Yes, that was my exact
thought.
thought.
I was dead.
Yeah.
I was laughing so fucking hard because it was just this little whisper from her, "Magic space baby powers." I was dead. I could not stop laughing.
Yeah.
It was the funniest thing I'd heard. And it was fucking magic space baby powers.
Well, like, so, again, we can get into some of the things.
Yeah, let's get back to the beginning.
Well, like, so, real quick. This movie is not beyond reproach. There are a few things that are said
still
kind of offhandedly. They're just kind of thrown out there, and you're like, hang on, rewind. Did Galactus just say he used to be a human?
Yeah.
Did he just say that he used to be a human, then someone from another reality brought him to this reality and made him Galactus? Because it sounded like he said that. And that is concerning to me.
Now, I don't know if he specifically said he used to be human.
He said he used to be tiny like you.
Yes.
He says, I used to be tiny like you. But
so that's...
As far as I know, again, I'm not sitting here being like, I've read every issue of the Fantastic Four. But, like, Galactus to me is... It'd be like saying, oh, this isn't a tornado. This is a man that was taken from another world and turned into a tornado. Uh-huh. And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
But is he still a force of nature? Well, not really. No, he's something else. It's like, okay, but he could just be a force of nature. Galactus is just entropy. That's all he is. He's just manifested entropy.
Yeah.
This idea of something that comes along and destroys everything in its path as part of the natural order of the universe. Mm-hmm. And we're not going to do that, and that's a bummer.
That was my biggest complaint, is they downplayed Galactus a little bit.
They kind of nerfed Galactus.
They nerfed, which at first it didn't seem like they were going to, but then they ended up doing that.
Yeah, that end fight, I was just like, okay. I love the end fight.
The end fight was great.
But they nerfed the shit out of Galactus.
Oh, yes.
Galactus is like Darkseid in that he can control his size because he's not of our world.
Yes.
And so, like, Galactus does eat planets like potato chips because he can make himself fucking enormous.
Yes. But he can make himself small enough to walk
on the planet.
Exactly.
I just didn't... I almost felt like there was a scene missing of, like, you don't have anybody to go and run errands for you?
You just said my number one problem with this movie, is there were parts where I'm like, there was some scenes missing.
Yeah.
Ben, when he goes at the end to see Rachel
Rosman,
and he walks in, and then the next scene, it's all of Fantastic Four on a balcony looking at Galactus, and Ben is there. I'm like, dude, you're missing a part of, like, what
what was the whole point of including Rabbi Rosman in this? It was supposed to be set up as this love
Ben's
story.
Humanity, but they didn't do anything.
They don't do anything with it. Also, again, with getting back to the nitpicky things, you bring up the Yancey Street gang. Fucking yes. Thank you.
Yes.
We want this. We want the Yancey Street gang to have bookies. This is great. And they're putting wagers on the Fantasta Baby? Awesome. This is great. Why is Ben wearing a Brooklyn Dodgers hat? No. We're going to get back to everything later. But if you don't know, Yonkers is north of the Bronx. There is no way in hell at any point in the history of the Dodgers and Yankees that Ben Grimm is living in Yonkers but is a Dodger fan.
Yeah.
No. Not even kind of. Even the Baxter Building is in Midtown most of the time. Mm-hmm. And in this movie kind of implied softly to be in Midtown on like the west side.
Yeah.
There is no world where Ben is a Dodger fan. Okay? I don't care. This is nitpicky and I don't care. It takes me out. It breaks Berger's law. But I digress. I really do like this movie because they get all those interactions right.
Yes.
Very much so. When they open up the movie, first off, it has one of those classic cold opens that I fucking love.
Yes.
Where they have Mycroft Holmes, of all people, going and taking you through the history of the Fantastic Four.
Exactly, and they're doing the flashback scenes.
And they give you all the things. Dude, I do
so
kind of look at you and say, so you costumed, made up, and brought in John Malkovich to play Red Ghost, and he's not in the movie?
Yeah.
You had a orangutan, and I give you credit for having a orangutan, but there's 3 monkeys and the Red Ghost, and I just feel like this could have been cooler if you had included, anything besides the one monkey.
And that's my premise. It's an hour and 54-minute movie.
It's not a short movie.
An hour 54 was short. Like lately, they had hitting the 2.5 hour mark.
But like they also had fat that they could trim.
Yeah,
there was a lot of stuff that they didn't necessarily need,
but they needed to add.
Yeah,
they needed to trim and add, because you're right. And I think that was my biggest complaint of the movie, is it just seemed disjointed in some areas, like you were missing scenes.
Yeah, because that scene where Mole Man shows up is so fucking good,
dude.
And Paul Wallerhauser, he's so good.
He's so good
as Mole Man.
And I love how he gives shit to all of Fantastic Four except for Sue.
Yeah.
He loves Sue. But everyone else he's just giving shit
Well, and again, this is the story.
I love it.
How does it go every time anything happens? We're going to go and hang out with Mole Man. Well, he hates all three of the guys, but he loves Sue. We're going to go and hang out with Namor. Well, he hates all three of the guys, but he loves Sue. Well, we're going to go and hang out with Dr. Doom. Well, he hates all three of the guys, but he loves Sue.
It's so great.
And so it's just like, it's right in the wheelhouse. So I love the beginning of this movie. I love when it's just Reed and Sue in bed, and Reed's like, where's the iodine? I need this. And he has like a little wound from a battle, and you're like, okay, so Reed does get out in the field. He's not just a brain like he is in a lot of situations. And, the pregnancy test and everything, you're like, great. We come down, we meet Johnny and Ben. I love the growth of Johnny off screen.
Yes.
Where they introduced Johnny, and I will say, this is going to be the only time I'm going to bring it up, the contacts were bad.
Yes.
Whether they were digital or real contacts, they were bad.
Yes.
There's a difference between having blue eyes and having whatever this is.
Yes.
This is too much. You went too far. So, but I love that moment where Johnny is just kind of shy, and Sue's like, and ladies, he's single. And then we meet Johnny, and he's like, fully come around.
But I also love how they didn't make him an idiot.
No, he's super smart.
He figured out the language of the surfer.
Well, he saves the day.
Oh, absolutely.
There were gonna be moments where you could still save the day, but there was going to be a significant sacrifice that had to be made. And because of Johnny's efforts, you don't have to make that sacrifice anymore.
Yeah.
He did the side plot.
It was awesome.
He did the side plot where you get back to the Baxter building after your mission, and you have to go up to Johnny's room and listen to 3 of discs, and you're like, I don't want to do this. This Johnny mission is so stupid. Why am I doing this? And then you get to the end of the story, and you're like, oh, that's why I was doing it the whole time.
But like, this is what we've been asking for these type of movies. You have the hero of the story is Sue Storm.
Yes,
she's very smart.
She is the hero of this story.
But they were able to do that without making the men look like idiots.
Well, and
except for that scene at the end with the stupid car seat. But other than
that went on
way too long. Way too long.
It went on too long.
The guys, they didn't make them look like bumbling idiots. No. And I love that. It's like, yes, she was the number one person. She was the one you root for at the end.
Yes.
But they still played a fucking major part in this.
That is so important to me, that Sue was not only used well, she's the biggest character in the story.
Oh, yeah.
Reed has moments where he seems to be the biggest character. Reed is the antagonist of this story.
Oh, yeah.
Galactus is the threat. Sue is the protagonist. Reed is the antagonist.
Yep.
And there's no fights because this movie is more big speeches. I noticed this when Sue gave her speech. It was like, and here's our 15th interview/speech.
Yes.
Where we're going to talk through our problems instead of punching our way through our problems. And then both Johnny and Ben roll their eyes like, oh, I love that, though, when they're on their way to see Galactus, and Reed's like, so we're going to take samples, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and they're like, and he's like, okay, if we find a man in a spaceship, you can punch him.
And Ben smiles.
Yes! All right!
I love that. It was so good.
You guys got the tone right. Yeah. You got the style right. Because it takes place in the 60s, not officially, we don't see a timeline, but it takes place in the 60s. Yeah. It's very 60s motifed.
Yes.
You get like this authenticity to everything that's happening, and just like, I love that the conflict is that, okay, this is a 2-part statement. I love that the conflict is that Galactus wants the baby.
Yes.
I hate that Reed comes out of the spaceship and is like, well, Galactus wants the baby and I'm not going to do that. Reed, hey, quick, come here, Reed. You didn't have to tell them that. You didn't have to tell them that. You could have said we went and we talked to Galactus and there was nothing we could do to change his mind. And so we came back because we knew he was going to invade and it was better to be here and protect people than to try and fight him on his own ground where we were going to be hopelessly outmatched.
But see, I kind of appreciated this about Reed, They made him out to be like a Sheldon, to where he is this insanely intelligent person, but he just doesn't have a lot of common sense.
Yeah.
So that's why that scene, I kind of was like, I could see him doing that, because he's like, well, I got to be honest with them. I can't be wrong. Even though you're like, dude, no, you don't fucking
don't
have to
need
do
to be honest with them.
But to me, I kind of like that, because it played into his character a little bit for me.
Well, and he's almost too good.
Yes, exactly.
Which is kind of, it runs counter to who he is as a person, where he is like, there were a lot of moments here that I really loved, because you can see that Reed in another situation would be a supervillain.
Yes.
And like, it's just this, for Reed, and again, this is so important to do, it's all about the math. You do the math and you come up with the solution based on the math. And you don't let all these things like feelings and emotion get in the way. You look at the math, and the math tells you to do this. And that is always such a conflict for Reed and Sue, of just like, Reed is so in his own head and unable to see beyond his own blinders. And Sue is like, hey, Reed, you know what you're doing is sociopathic though, right? Like, this is bad and we shouldn't do it, right? You do know that. I need to hear you say that you know that.
Yeah.
And so I love that Sue got to have so much time in this movie. It does, thinking about it, it does kind of feel like they're a 50-50 kind of split, where Reed is a large part of the story, but then Sue kind of comes in and props everything back up when it falls apart.
Yes.
There's a lot of moments of Reed being like, I don't have a plan. I'm not sure what to do. And then Sue coming in and being like, but we're going to get through this together.
Yeah.
And I like this
so
movie
great.
a lot. This is an A. This is A minus. I can't believe it's an A minus, but it's an A minus.
I do have to give credit to Fortnite once again, because they had a Dr. Doom's season thing.
Yeah.
And my son loved Dr. Doom because of that. And so when they had the UN meeting and they scanned and they showed Latvia, he's like, I know that place. That's where Dr. Doom's from. I'm like, I'm so proud.
Hell yeah, dude,
I'm
is.
so proud.
You know
so
it
great.
is.
Yeah.
Anyway, I really love this movie.
I was back and forth between A and A minus.
I can't give it an A because there are elements of it that I still kind of look at and roll my eyes a little bit.
Well, that's the thing, is I don't know how to grade it. Do I grade it on a normal scale or a Marvel movie scale?
Yeah.
Because if it's a Marvel movie scale, it's A+.
It's A+. Compared to the rest of everything that's been going on, this is an A+. The humor is there, but it's not obtrusive. There's not a moment where Ben has to make some yucky yuck schmucking thing. You have fucking Joe Quinn being as charming as he was as
he's
Eddie.
So great.
He's the perfect Johnny Storm.
Yep.
After so many attempts, he is the perfect Johnny Storm. He hits that balance right in the middle of like cocky, arrogant, but also knows he's a good person, does the right thing. That moment where he says, tell Franklin that Uncle Johnny loves him.
Yeah.
It's like, this is Johnny Storm.
Yeah.
This is the Johnny Storm I've known for so long. And you finally get those pieces and they come together and acquiesce in such a really good, enjoyable way.
Yeah.
I'm still stuck on the Silver Surfer thing.
That is something I was going to say.
Because
honestly, it wasn't as bad as I thought. It
started exactly where we thought it was going to start.
It did.
And it kind of ended there too.
Yes. But she wasn't in it as much.
No.
Which
she was
helps.
actually a much smaller character.
Much smaller character. But I thought the same thing. And it looked better in the movie than it did in the trailer.
The graphics looked way better in the movie.
Better. Same with
way
Ben.
better.
He looked a lot better. But I still, I think, yes, so I give it an A minus, and that would knock it down because I still wish it was the OG Surfer.
I just, my thing is, you did so many things that I didn't think you were going to do. Calling her Shayla Bell. That's huge. Mm-hmm. That's enormous. Even in Rise of the Silver Surfer, I don't think they call him Norn Rand. No. At any point. The name Norn Rand is never brought up. So already we are bounds further than we were down the road. But you do end up running into the situation of she's a hottie, Johnny wants to bang her.
Yes.
And you're just like, okay, all right. We get past it pretty quickly, which is why I can't blame them too much for it. It's not like the entire movie. But it's like a recurring thing, the entire movie of like, oh, Johnny has the hots for the shiny space lady. And that end is the surfboard part of you. Those were two things that I was like, okay, can we, these two bits, is there any way we could just not do them?
Yeah.
I end up feeling conflicted. Again, you end up in this situation where it's like, so Galactus gave her makeup too? Like when he gave her new body, he also gave her permanent makeup?
Yeah.
So she had a shadow eye? you didn't need to set yourself up into these situations, and I don't think this movie is made worse by having multiple heralds. If anything, I think it makes the movie more interesting to have multiple heralds.
Yes.
So, like, and then you can do a thing where it's like, okay, you have this dichotomy of you have Norn Rand and Shayla Bell and Sue Storm and Reed Richards, and on the one hand, the two men characters are doing their thing, and on the other hand, the two female characters are doing their thing, or interchange them. So it's like, Norn and Sue end up aligning on things, but Shayla Bell and Reed end up aligning on things. And there's conflict between the couples, but also between each other on these different teams. There's things you can do. Having a fight between the Thing and Terrax. You're going to tell me you don't want to have a fight between the Thing and Terrax. Also, you only called him the Thing once in the entire movie.
Yes!
Don't think I didn't count.
Just
I
once.
counted. It came up once, and it was during the evacuation. So I counted.
I do appreciate, though, they didn't do the whole... oh, he's a monster and everyone's afraid of him.
No, I love that they didn't do that.
It's been long enough now. Everybody loves him. He's probably the most popular one in the whole group.
Yeah, everybody has his action figure.
Yeah.
Because he's the most interesting
and the kids
action
are wearing
figure.
his costume for Halloween.
I love the scene where he sees the kids in the schoolyard, and they're like, pick up the car! And he's like, I can't do it!
That when they yell, throw it.
Throw it!
It was awesome.
Like, these are the moments we've been waiting for when he knocks down a building to help Sue. God, dude, these are the moments we've been waiting for.
I like the rock beard.
I love the rock beard.
The rock beard was awesome.
I love, I was even willing to go in, we just watched Crisis on Infinite Earths, the DC animated series,
nice.
which had a very similar storyline where we have to set up these teleportation booths to make it so that we're going to teleport the entire planet from one solar system to another, which is a very Doctor Who solution to things. It's like, oh, we're going to screw up all the star charts, and kids in 3 generations aren't going to know what the fuck Mars is, but we have to save the Earth.
Yeah.
It turns into this whole, okay, now all of those teleportation pads are gone. We got to come up with this new solution. I love that scene between Johnny and the Silver Surfer. Again, it's another non-fight scene.
Yes.
Where it's like, oh, it's a fight scene. It's not a fight scene. It's us talking about our differences and having a conversation. So if you really want punching, this movie doesn't have a ton of punching.
No, not at all.
And so if that's going to be a big deal for you, where it's like, I like the fight scenes, I like the punching, I like that. There's not a lot of that. There's a lot of emotional fighting in this movie and not a lot of physical fighting in this movie, which I also kind of really like about it.
I did like too, because it wasn't like watching a video game like most Marvel movies, which is just they can't have a moment where they don't have a fight scene.
And frankly, it doesn't make sense for some of these characters to fight.
Yes.
Reed has gotten to a point now in the comics and other things where he's support.
Yeah.
He doesn't go out onto the front lines. He's support. You keep Reed in the back to brainstorm things and set up the ultimate nullifier.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, I wanted an ultimate nullifier. I wanted Reed to be like, I've come up with this thing I'm calling it the ultimate nullifier, but it won't be ready in time, so we're going to have to come up with something else. Give me a Prison 42, give me a negative zone. Oh, a Nihilus as a drop.
They've already jumped. They did so much in this movie.
I know. I just always want more.
I do have to say, this movie did fall victim to the thing that I don't know if they're ever going to be able to do right, and that is the CGI baby.
Yeah, oh my God, the CGI
Holy
Franklin.
shit.
It wasn't as bad as The Flash, but it was in the same park.
Yeah.
If The Flash is at the far end of the park, we're in the vestibule of the park. We've just entered, but don't make no mistakes about it. You are still in the same park of weird, creepy baby face.
I don't know if they're ever going to be able to get that right, because This I would say this is the best CGI baby I've seen in a movie.
And it's still not good.
And it's still horrific.
Yeah, it's still not good.
So I don't know if they'll ever nail that.
There are still moments, I don't know if it was because they had an actual baby or not, but there are moments with Franklin that I do love. Again, just Johnny and Ben being really good
I love
uncles,
the interaction.
Where, I love that moment where Johnny's like, I haven't eaten all day. I guess I'm going to have some baby.
Yes, he's eating. It's the best.
This is awesome, man.
Dude,
this is everything I wanted this to be.
Yeah.
I will say, again, in the Tiki Tech, we're going to put it on the board, but I don't know if it really counts towards anything. Franklin does not have the power cosmic. The Silver Surfer has the power cosmic. The Silver Surfer's always had the power cosmic. That's always been a thing. So if you're going to name drop the power cosmic, that's fine. I end up kind of being like, I don't know, the whole thing where it's like, oh, Franklin is actively preventing you from reading his signatures for his power levels.
Yeah.
He's in utero. How would he do that? We're getting into Professor X and his sister having a full-on brawl in utero levels of like, okay.
When I was watching this movie and really looking at Franklin, all I could think was Jack.
Yeah.
From The Incredibles.
Like, you can tell that The Incredibles made a great Fantastic Four movie 20 years before a great Fantastic Four movie was made. Because it follows the same lines.
Oh, absolutely.
Because of course it
would.
Yeah. Because The Incredibles just lifted everything from the fucking Fantastic Four to the degree of 3 of the 4 powers.
Yes, exactly.
They got rid of flames and turned it into super speed, but it's the exact same power set otherwise.
Yeah,
You're just mixed up. It's like, okay, so the wife's powers are going to the daughter, the husband's powers are going to the wife, the uncle's brother powers are going to the father, and then we're going to get rid of the flame on.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they gave it to Jack. It's one of his powers.
Yeah.
But it's like the same thing where it's like, oh, does he have powers? Of course he has fucking powers.
Of course he has fucking powers.
Everyone knows he has fucking powers.
Of course.
And then all of a sudden, he's able to touch her and her eyes turn blue and she's alive and it's like...
There was a moment where when he's born... I also love the scene where Franklin is born outside of a black hole.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is fucking dope.
Yeah.
But I love that moment, and there is like a real moment where Sue is naming him. And I'm like, name him Nathaniel. Do it. Mm-hmm. Because then he's Kang. Oh, shit! But no, we didn't do it. We did Franklin.
And not to be gross, but when he was being born, I'm like, man, there'd be so much shit floating in this air right now. That's all I can think. I'm like, I've seen what goes on down there. Man, there would be a horror show in this ship right now.
But like
zero gravity birth.
Just everywhere. I love that scene where Rita's like, we're going to strap you down. She's like, don't you strap me down.
Don't you
and he's like, you need gravity to push, Sue. And it's like, okay, listen, I don't agree with Reed on most things, but I might agree with him here. No, I did genuinely like this movie in spite of things like in the lead-in in the beginning. They're like, the Fantastic Four go on the first ever manned mission to space, and then in 4 years they have faster than light travel.
Yeah.
But are you sure? Right? I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying, are you sure?
I think they could say, oh, well, it's not Earth that you know.
Well,
it's
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a progression and a expansion on what we know is happening. But it was just a little funny to be like, so you never went to space, and then in 4 years you cracked faster than light travel?
Well, not only faster than light travel, teleportation.
Yeah.
All within 4 years.
So it's just like, okay, I guess I have to give this to you, but I am going to be like, well, are you sure? But God help me. I end up walking away from this without really any like big complaints.
And the mid-credit scene where, unfortunately, it's Robert Downey Jr. and it makes me want to puke, but I still liked that it was Doom there playing with Franklin, and it's like, that's kind of cool.
I will say they are kind of stealing Valeria's literally whole story.
Yes.
Where the Richard's second child, Valeria, is literally delivered by Doom and named by him, and he is her godfather. And they have, like, a really good relationship. They're, like, really close. And she learns magic from him. So, like, Franklin Richards, the most powerful mutant since Cable. And then you have Valeria Richards, who is, like, this mutant/magician. And you're like, all right, we got something going here.
And that's the part that makes me sad about this movie, though, is because I'm not looking forward to the Avengers movie. I'm just not.
I don't see anything here that's like, okay, so this is going to save the day. No. Absolutely not.
And the only thing that proves that even more is that mid-credit scene of Thunderbolts that shows the Fantastic Four appearing. Well, and it's like, dude, if you're gonna pigeon that onto this shit,
it's like how what made this movie so endearing in a lot of ways was the art of the film, the fact that it is the Pan Am building, the fact that it's Johnny listening on records. Yeah. And he has these big 60 bowl chairs to sit in, and he has like this fucking Andy Warhol style art on the wall, and Herbie has this reel-to-reel thing for his Herbie AI. They did a great job on Herbie for the first time ever.
Herbie is so awesome.
I end up not complaining about the Fantastic Car because everything else works out so well. And I just, man, I think the biggest thing is that my dad is an enormous Fantastic Four fan. I can recommend this movie to
Yeah,
him and
exactly.
be like, not only would you like it, you should see it.
Yeah.
It will make you happy.
Yeah.
And so, like, I really like this movie. It does not make me think that anything going forward is going to be better, because what makes this movie great? The art style, which comes from the director and his vision. He's not directing Doomsday. He's not directing any of these other movies that the Fantastic Four are going to show up in.
And, like, I don't understand how they're going to transition this group into the shit that is the MCU. No. It's like, I don't know how the characters are going to transition.
I thought we were going to get a mention of an incursion event or something. There's nothing.
No.
There's this idea of other dimensions brought up broadly. And so you have Galactus saying, I came from a different dimension, or a being came from another dimension and made me this way. You have Reed at the beginning is talking about the possibility of other dimensions, and all the kids are bored in the classroom, so he has to set something on fire to keep their attention. So it's like, it's in the ether.
Yeah.
But I thought we were going to get, like, incursion events. Like, the universe is falling apart. We have to leave our universe because it's literally falling apart. And the only way to save it is to go to another universe to find help. We didn't get there. So that is a little bit of a bummer, but, like, you also name drop El Diablo and had Reed baby-proof New York City. So, like, we'll call it even.
I look at, if they would have taken this as the starting point to the new MCU,
Yeah.
keeping it in this universe,
Oh, my God.
having
Oh, my God.
Galactus be the Thanos type where he knows of Earth,
He's going to come back.
and he's gonna be coming, but then you have, like, the first movie be with the Skrulls, and then you can start introducing characters, and they're building to knowing Galactus
You have
is
a
coming.
new Xavier school that shows up in the middle of Midtown. The
Exactly.
Fantastic Four show up, and there's this Xavier school, and they're there. You have Reed is doing his day-to-day thing, and this teenager, this really squirrely teenager, shows up at his door, and he's like, I need your help. And he's like, come back another time. And then he jumps up to the ceiling and walks around.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh. And he's wearing a bag over his head. Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we have something. Now we can do something.
I just wish they would have done that.
I think the idea of having Marvel movies take place in the era when Marvel comics were created,
It was fucking great.
like really created, I think that's so exciting.
Because you could have rebooted the whole Captain America thing, because, well, you would have to have gone back to World War II.
Two.
But, like, even if you would have... I don't know how you would have done that, but you would figure something out.
And, like, you get into this, like, we don't have to be beholden to our technology.
Yes.
They have their own technology that is different from ours. So, like, you can have some of the technology, but, like, we aren't going to necessarily worry about phones. So you get rid of that whole element of, like, the internet and phones and all this other stuff that, like, now this becomes the story. It's like,
Yes.
How does the internet react to the new Avengers? And it's 20 minutes of the movie. And it's like,
Yeah.
I don't fucking care about that, man. I don't care what fake Tumblr has to say about the fake Avengers. I don't care. You want me to care, but I'm not going to care.
Yeah, I'm not going to give a shit.
And so this allows us to fully just go all the way around that and be like, we have teleportation, we don't have the internet.
Yeah.
Cool, great. I will every day make that deal. Every day I'll make that deal.
Yeah. And they have repulsor technology to make their car fly, and they've given that technology to the police force because police cars are using it, but they're not giving it to, like, everybody.
Yeah.
So everyone's still driving old OG cars.
They even dropped the Future Foundation.
Yeah.
That's a huge drop.
Yeah,
like,
it's massive.
I'm so impressed with this movie and how it was able to walk that line that we spent all summer, all spring talking about, like, I don't know, I'm looking at it, I don't know.
Yeah.
Every time I see something new, it looks bad. God help me.
It is going to be a Deadpool 3.
From-
It's going to be an anomaly
Oh,
in
yeah.
a pile of shit.
It's an anomaly in a number of ways, but I think most of all because it isn't beholden to anything.
Yes.
Deadpool, not beholden to anything.
Yes.
Able to just do whatever they fucking want to do. Fantastic Four, not beholden to anything. Able to do just whatever the fuck they want to do.
Yes.
We don't have to have a conversation about, like, but where was the thing when the snap happened if he was around the whole time, like we did for Eternals. It made me want all of Phase 4 and 5 to have been Elseworld stories.
Yeah.
Literally every story in there should have been
agree.
an Elseworld story where it just opens up and it tells you the world number. And it's like, okay, we know that the MCU is this number. This takes place in this number. Therefore, it is a similar. We can judge by the number, how close it is to the MCU we know. The higher or lower the number, the further away it is from the MCU we know. So let's say, I'm not going to give you 616 because that's taken. So I'll take the number you took, which is 199999998. If you did that, maybe 1999997 9-6 is another universe, and it's very similar but a little different.
That's like the Shang-Chi universe or whatever.
And that's where Shang-Chi takes place. And then, 166, 1224 is where the New Avengers takes place. And we don't have to worry about treading on anybody's feet because it doesn't take place in the MCU.
Yeah, I agree.
You could have done way cooler shit, freed yourself from a lot of expectations and bindings, and still gotten to the same point that we're going to get to in the end anyway.
I agree. So, good movie. For the first time in a long time, we are recommending
Shocking.
a Marvel
I
movie.
am as shocked as anybody. How many of these things have I come into and been like, but maybe it's going to be good? Hey, this one was good. This one was good.
And we had less hope for this one than some of the other ones.
Oh, yeah.
All right, folks, that was episode 172 of NerdPod Generations. We really hope you enjoyed what you heard. So if you have any questions or concerns, go to nerdpodgen.com and make sure to, leave us a little comment. Let us know. Leave us an email about what you thought of the whole thing, how life was. If you have anything to add to our discussion.
I mean, usually we always ask people to tell us how we're wrong about the things that we hate.
I was wrong. I said 172. It was 173 we just recorded. So I was wrong about that.
But in a world where we always ask people to tell us why we're wrong about things we hate, tell us why we're wrong about why we liked Fantastic Four. Come out of the woodwork and be like, I think Sue Storm's stand at the end of the movie was stupid because she was a mother. She had extra superpowers. Yeah. Dick shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know how motherhood works?
Yeah.
I don't think you do.
No.
I don't think you get it.
No. The stork.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So who does
Chimneys.
Who does our artwork and music, Hal?
Our art is by Kortney Howell. Our music is by Brendan Williams and James Connolly. I'm Alfred Judson.
And I'm Steve Taylor, folks. We'll see you next week. I don't know what the hell we're going to talk about, but we didn't know we were going to talk about till Saturday when I said, hey, let's talk about this movie.
Well, my favorite, you say until you said, let's talk about this movie. My favorite was the message you sent me, which was, against my better judgment, Ethan has told me he wants to watch Fantastic Four, so go and watch it on the Voodoo.
Yes.
That was what I heard.
Yeah.
So, until next week, friends and enemies, who the fuck knows what's going to happen?
I don't know.
See you later.